Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome from where we are to this African CN Summit. I'm Jean-Baptiste Milogo. I'm from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. I'm happy on behalf of Internet Society and all organizers to welcome you here. So it will be a great session with a great panelist and moderator. I think we'll nail more about CN movement and initiative from many countries from Africa. So before I'm giving the floor to a moderator for the next start, I will just share with you some housekeeping rule to let you know how to go through this platform and enjoy the session. Enoch, if you are ready to share housekeeping rule, also go move it now. Thank you. So for this session, so we'll have Barbara Muturu moderating the session with Barbara will moderate the session. So she'll have opportunity to introduce herself. But before that, let me move to next. Barbara is from AFCHIX, our partners. So for the housekeeping role for today, just to give you an opportunity to have a good session. So keep in mind that this session will be moderated. So if for any reason you lose some parts, so be patient, we'll just share this recording after the meeting with you. And if you want to engage during the questionnaire part, just be engaged respectfully and responsibly. And for when you start asking questions, so be short and just maybe let us know from where you are coming from. It should be good and using this matrix of presentation here. So for those who are not familiar with Internet Society Code of Conduct, you can have a view on the full document by browsing on this URL in the top bottom of the page. Next, please. Next. So seems that we do have some technical issue, but it's not a big matter. So maybe let me give you the floor to the moderator to start the session, and we can anytime maybe have opportunity to share some as we can keep in rule. So over to you, our moderator for today. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the facilitator. Our moderator is Barbara Muthoka. My role is very brief today to give some few remarks about today's session. First of all, I would like to thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We are honored by your presence today. We invite you to engage, reflect, and share your perspectives with us. For many years, society has perpetuated the narrative that a woman's place is in the kitchen. However, we are here today to break down those barriers through the works of AFCHIX. We know that the role of women is well documented in the community networks. We also know that it is without challenges. We know that when women are included, sometimes they experience marginalization, even when we think they are excluded. However, over the years, AFCHIX has dedicated their time in breaking down the barriers, making sure that the girl child and her mother are part of the telecommunication industry. So in today's session, we are going to listen to perspectives from a multicultural panel of women who have dedicated their lives in connecting the unconnected in Kenya, Morocco, and Namibia. They have demonstrated the highest level of self-determination by making sure that they don't conform to the narrative that society has crafted for women. So we welcome you in this session so that you can allow yourself to learn from their collective experiences. But most importantly, we hope that you will be inspired by their stories. They will lead you and lead me into a journey of unlearning about the stereotypes that society has crafted as far as women are concerned in this male-dominated sector. Our facilitator is Barbara Muthoka, who's going to take you through the journey of her role in AFCHIX, where she takes care of the operations, coordinating a multicultural team of women in connecting the unconnected. Barbara has more than 6 years experience in working with communities. She has engaged with an interdisciplinary team, designing and developing systems to ensure that people, especially the marginalized, have access to information. We welcome you, Barbara, into this session. We are looking forward to the engagements, the stories from the women that you worked with, and all the best with the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Kgopotso. Thank you so much. I hope I've not butchered your name. So thank you so much for that introduction. Welcome again to everybody who's here. I'll start first by asking the technical team if they can play us a small slideshow about AFCHIX, seeing the different countries and our activities throughout the span of our projects with the community networks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So I'll start by introducing AFCHIX. AFCHIX was founded by African women and for African women. The organization that would become AFCHIX was born in 2004 when our founder, Dorcas Muthoni and Anna Badimo, founded a regional chapter of the worldwide group AFCHIX. And through AFCHIX Africa, they hoped to help build the critical mass of Linux skills among African women and to advocate for the use of open source software to help tackle developmental challenges in African communities. Excuse me. But since then, AFCHIX has evolved into an independent African organization, and its activities have reached a lot of women in 25 countries on the continent. AFCHIX has done this through mentoring girls, starting from, maybe age 9 all the way up, encouraging them to consider careers in computer science and IT. We've done this through visiting schools, hosting technical workshops, hosting events aimed at women in tech, and also sponsoring our members to take part in local and international tech conferences. And through these activities, around in 2018, we responded to a call for proposals by the Women Connect Challenge, project by USAID in 2018, and we applied for it because we saw this as a really great opportunity to practice what we preach by providing an opportunity for the women in these communities to take charge and to bring access to technology to the communities and to actively participate in connecting the unconnected. And thankfully, we got our proposal accepted and we began the work in the 4 African countries, namely Namibia, Kenya, Morocco, and Senegal. Once we set these up, we then got lucky again. I don't know if it's luck, but we were very fortunate again to get a second round of funding from USAID to then scale up these community networks that we had just created in these different countries in different far rural areas where they would not necessarily have commercial ISPs get to them. And we ended this project this year, and this project enabled us to upgrade not only the network infrastructure that we had set up back in 2018, but it also enabled us to give capacity building to the women in the communities around the community networks, and to also help in terms of thinking about the sustainability of these specific community networks to ensure that we continue to further the work of bridging the gender digital divide. I have a slide presentation to show you exactly where we are in terms of our current status of each CN. I don't know if the tech team can help me with that, where we can show how we managed to set up these community networks in the 4 different African countries and what capacity they're at now, because I know in the round table discussion, we'll be able to discuss further as to exactly what work went into it. Thank you for that. Next slide. So as I mentioned, our CNs are located in Kenya, Namibia, and Morocco, and Senegal. In Kenya, it is in Lanet, Umoja, where there's a population of about 48,000 people living in about 9,000 households. In Namibia, we have a sparse population in the rural area of Groot. In Morocco, in the Izdeg, I hope I'm not butchering this, Houda. In the Izdeg Middle province, where the population is about more than 8,000 people in about 1,500 households. And in Senegal, in Camberen, where there's a population of about 50,000 people. And what we have managed to do, next slide, please, is in Kenya, we currently are at Lanet Umoja, where there are 4 base stations, and the people in the community are able to access the internet through public Wi-Fi or fixed wireless connections in their homes. And their capacity with the kind of infrastructure we've set up right now, they are able to reach about 2,400 people, whereby they'll be able to connect within their houses and have about 1,400 people connect to their public Wi-Fi through the hotspots that are set up across the community. In Groot, there's 5 base stations, which also has public Wi-Fi and fixed wireless access. And there they have the capacity, full capacity for their network to be 300 fixed wireless connections and 640 connections for the public Wi-Fi hotspots that they've set up. In Izdeg, there's 4 base stations, both with public Wi-Fi and fixed wired wireless access. And we'll talk about more about Morocco as to why they only have that 1,500 public Wi-Fi set up, because their model is different. And I think Houda will talk more about this in the roundtable discussion. So this is actually just the physical infrastructure and where the CNs are in the different countries that we were able to set up through the 2 projects that were funded by USAID. And so as we wrap up about AFCHIX and about what we've been able to do in terms of setting up community networks, I want us to go into now the roundtable discussion, because that's where we'll get the meat of how women have taken part and participated in the creation of community networks. And we have very, very wonderful ladies here with us in the panel, and I would like to introduce them. At first, we have Dr. Houda Chakiri from Morocco. She is currently teaching computer science at Al-Ahwayan University, mainly teaching agile digital project development, agile software engineering and DevOps, management information systems, and digital transformation. She has been advocating for the empowerment of African and Arab women in tech since 2006, and she's a founder and former CEO for over 17 plus year-old organization called Enhanced Technologies. It is an IT company in Morocco, and she is also a director at AFCHIX. She will tell us more about herself in just a bit. Next, we have a fantastic story of AFCHIX work, introducing Mariah Njuguna from the Lanet community network in Kenya. She participated in the technical training sessions that we held at as we were setting up the community networks in Kenya in 2018. She participated in the training sessions, then went ahead and became a network technician and volunteered back into the community network and became the project coordinator for the project in 2021 and is now the acting CEO of the community network in Lanet. And then we have Ghillian from Groot Community Network. She is a retired school teacher. She has been the project coordinator of the community network since 2018, since we began. And she's been very instrumental in the creation of the CN, the management of the project in Namibia, engaging the community around, around the needs for the community network and the implementation of the project activities, which have taken place from training women in small businesses to using YouTube tutorials, just leading this cause and being able to ensure that our community network in Namibia is set up. And she currently serves as the CN coordinator there. So as we want to begin the roundtable discussion session, I want to know the ladies, for you to introduce yourselves and to say exactly what motivated you to participate and become part of creating the community network in your community. So we can do Houda, Ghillian, then Mariah, if that's okay. So welcome.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everybody, for attending the session, and thank you, Internet Society APC, for the co-organizing and hosting this event. I would like first to present all my deepest condolences to the families and that suffered the earthquake in Morocco, and also for Libya, who suffered recently a devastating flood. This shows how technology can help into saving lives of populations that are that live in remote area and underserved by technology. Well, just to go back to the introductions, Barbara already introduced me. I'm university assistant professor. I teach computer science, software engineering, management, information system, and so on. And I had the chance to manage, also to create and I manage a company that develops local digital services to municipalities in Morocco. And I served at the beginning of the project in the first phase of it as a part of a member of the steering committee, technical steering committee. And then in the second phase, I just found myself handling the coordination of the project because of the language barrier that was, raised between the community members in Morocco and the whole management team, and also because some technical decisions and orientations need to be taken at a higher level part. And I enjoyed doing that and did it with lots of dedication and love, and because I understood that there was a very huge need to connect those underserved communities, especially the area that was chosen to host the community network. It sits in a very rural area, though Barbara talked earlier about one some 8,000 population, but they are really dispatched and scattered around the many hills and mountains, farms that are not located in the same geographical area. This is a very big geographical area where populations and households are very scattered. Yeah, I mean, I hope I answered the question, Barbara, and if you have more questions about these aspects, you can ask me. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. Ghillian? You are muted. Technology.
Afternoon, yes. Thank you, AFCHIX, APC, Internet Society. Yes, it's really a pleasure and a great honor to be with you. My name is Bock. I am the coordinator for the Groot Women Community Network, situated in Namibia, and he is located, as the name says it all, in Groot. I became part of the network in 2018 when the then coordinator, Dr. Nick Betwell, was looking for a woman staying in the community to take over from her. And that was how I ended up to become the coordinator. I coordinated the project for those 3 years. And then in the second phase, I was again asked by AFCHIX whether I'm willing to coordinate the second phase. And yes, because I love the community and because I know where it will take them if they have. We are rural, so yes, we did not have a really reliable, although the ISPs that we are working with do have internet provision in our areas, but I think this will just make it a little bit better. So that's why I went in for the second phase. And yes, I'm just quite thankful that I did it so that we could finish and that we could achieve what we had achieved. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ghillian. Mariah?
Hi, everyone. It's such an opportunity to be in this session today. Thank you, everyone, for making this happen. My name is Mariah Njuguna. I am based in Lanet, Umoja, which is where the project is. So I'm a resident of Lanet, Umoja, so I've also enjoyed the fruits of this project. And what motivated me to join the CN is that it just came in handy that when I finished campus, the project started. So I was out of campus, and really this was a learning opportunity, and seeing that it involved women, I was so excited because this is where I always see people criticizing women because, you know, they don't know about tech things. And I wanted to prove everyone wrong that despite us coming from the rural areas, we can also go in and make it through tech. So I joined in as we first started training in Lanet Umoja for the tech group. So I was a trainee then, and then I joined in as a technical support volunteer. I volunteered during the development of the project. And then later in, I was called to be the project coordinator. It's been an opportunity, a learning opportunity, and I can be happy to say that I've grown in this. And as Barbara would encourage me, this is the place that women need to persevere in. So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you so much, ladies. So now let's dive into the creation of the CN. I'd like you to share with us the inception process of the community networks. You know, what process did it take you for you to decide about the network infrastructure? Which kind of backhaul were you going to choose? How did you select that? The network plan, the location of the CNs, what kind of process did you go through when deciding to do that? Please walk us through that, because this is, I think, how it will show our different models and how you decided to do it contextualized in your own communities. So we could do Mariah, Ghillian, and then Houda.
Thank you, Barbara. I think for Lanet Umoja, I think every CN has its own story, but this has been a network for the community, by the community, with the community. So we've grown from the community, getting feedback and support from the people living within the community. And we were able to get to choose a provider who is affordable and the one that supports our topology. And in this case, we first connected schools. So we had to look for a provider who would support the dream we have of connecting all the public schools. So this is what we went for. And we're also getting a bandwidth of around 100 Mbps, which is serving the schools that we are connecting and the community around. I hope I've answered the question, Barbara.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Ghillian? Again, you're muted.
Sorry. It's just, okay, yes. When you look back at the Groot scenario, we started by choosing the most dense populated areas because as we are sparse, we are also vast. So yes, we had to look in where it will be needed or yes, affected most. So we look into the areas that is most dense. Now we take those community members into a meeting and they had to decide for the location of the towers, where precisely who was willing to host the towers, because we could not just place the towers everywhere, anywhere. We had to have people that were willing to, on their premises, have our towers. So then these community members came together, they sat together, and then they decide. Also, we had to look at the range of the bandwidth, maybe who can be and where we have the most people that could be within the range of the network. So yes, after that, we go back, we elect a steering committee consisting of at least plus minus 80% women. Two males, and then the rest was women. So the steering committee then had to sit. We had our funding at that stage secured from AFCHIX through USAID through AFCHIX. So the funding was available. We look into this, the fact that there was a tech available. The tech helped us in the first phase without any payment being made to him. And yes, then the rest of the community just jumped in. We did what we do, and the towers was erected. In the 2018 stage, we could only put up our towers. There was not enough money to put equipment. So, okay, then we leave it like that. We registered the CN because in our country, in Namibia, we need to be registered. And so we registered the CN. The towers was up, and then it was at the stage that we live. In the second phase, however, with again the funding of USAID through AFCHIX, we managed to now put up equipment on the towers. We managed to put up a fourth mast that helped also in other parts of the community, and we also could now get an ISP provider that was paid by the funding. Our way in select the provider was just to see, because we don't have a huge variety, so we look at what packages they had, the cost of the packages, how best it will suit the community, and on that we decide. So at this stage, we started off with 100 megabytes per second, up and 50 down, but that is because it was really unstable. We had to re-improvise, and yes, we are at this stage of our 25 up, 25 down, but yes, that is what is really sort of stable, and that is what we can go at. It is still sort of in a practicing, see whether it will live up, whether it will take us, but yes, hopefully it will take us through. But everyone that is connected to the CN do have reliable bandwidth. Thank you, Barbara.
Let me share with you how we did it in Morocco. as a first phase, you hear me, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. At the very beginning, we have identified three areas, remote areas, rural areas that suffer low internet penetration and that have problems in affordability to access the internet, and at some points have problems in even coverage. I mean, they do not have a good coverage of internet despite the widespread of good ISPs in Morocco. Since we have identified those three areas, we have contacted decision makers, because decision makers are very important stakeholders when you want to establish community networks, because you will need authorization, you will need local support from decision makers, mayors, elected people, etc., to help you and support you during the process, because this is not a simple process. It needs a lot of communication, but also support from local decision makers. So, of course, the first that answered yes and welcomed our project, we have embarked with them. Followed that, we needed to do some field trips, visit the locations, and study how was the geography of the area. I mean, obstacles, everything. And then, of course, we have organized meetings with local populations to assess their needs in terms of coverage, in terms of affordability, but also in terms of what kind of access they need and what are they most, because we cannot offer coverage to all the area that we have identified or the commune that we have identified, but rather to some geographical area and help the community network start, and then they can themselves scale it up to other places or other spots. The meeting with the population helped us compose first a steering committee and kind of management committee that followed up. I combined us all over the process of installation during the first phase and again during the second phase, and helped us assess where are we going to put our antennas, etc. For the backhaul, the local visits, along with the field trips that we technical visits that we performed, along with the meetings with the populations, helped us identify the backbone of that compose our community networks. And of course, for the internet connection, we had communicated consultation with the different internet service providers, and we have opted for a satellite internet, VSAT. And of course, there are plenty of contributors and plenty of providers that operate in Morocco. However, we have chosen in the first phase to operate with one of very known ISPs in the region, and we had some problems. We faced some problems with support, technical support, local support, and in the second phase we have switched the internet service provider to one who operates locally. Of course, the costs remains similar. There is no big difference, but what helps us also choose the internet service provider is really be close to the population, be close to whenever we need some support and physical attendance, and sending their technicians to troubleshooting if needed. I hope this covers all the parts of your question, because this is multi-parted questions.
Yes, very multiparted. I just wanted to go back to Mariah just for 1 minute, ask her about the partnerships that she mentioned regarding the schools, the selection of using the schools as the places for locating your CN. What was that process? Because we've heard from Houda about, talking to the community and, ensuring that the decision makers are present and are willing to take part in that. We've heard from Ghillian also, going to the different places that they have their co-location with the CN and talking to the people and ensuring that they are agreeable to setting up the masts in those locations. What about Kenya? How did that go with the schools?
Thank you, Barbara. So for Kenya, we've partnered with the schools. The schools are the one who are hosting the CN equipment. This came around because looking at the geographical area of where the network is, it's supposed to serve the community, but it's so rural that we do not have, established places where we can do co-location or rent out. So the schools came in so handy because it's a community network, basically. So we had to have the community own it. And the best way we could do this is using the public schools. So the schools have collaborated with the CN. So we've provided them with they've hosted our equipment. They also give us security. We collaborate with the school security and power. So that is what the school offers us. And then in turn, we provide all the schools. Currently, we have connected 8 public schools. We provide them with free internet. And in turn, we also even offer trainings, free trainings to the schools, to the teachers, to the students. So it's been one unique experience, I can say. And this also has helped us in making sure that the schools, and especially the pupils who are our sisters and brothers, are getting internet, unlike us who grew up, not knowing what internet was back then. So it's a way that we're giving back to the community, and we're also gaining us as a community.
Thank you for that. So we've seen that it's very important at inception to think about the whole infrastructure, the network, where we're going to get it, where we're going to set it up, who we're going to partner with, how we'll cater for the security, and the people in the community have to be very involved for it to be a running community network. So with that in place, would you share with us how you govern the CN and its activities? Houda and Ghillian have spoken about a steering committee that they set up. How did you guys set that up? What were the thoughts processes on selecting the people to join the committee? And please speak about how women have played a role in those steering committees, if any, and what roles they've played to ensure that the community network is running and being led in the way that you would want it to go and benefit the community.
Yes, thank you, Barbara. So a community, a CN steering committee was set to be able to govern in everything that was happening in the network. And this basically included women, but we also had some men in the committee. But most of the activities, most of the things that had to be dealt with was dealt with women. This also came in that the steering committee decided as the community they needed to set, to come up and create a CBO, community-based organization, where the CBO is the one that, now currently is the one that is doing all the administration of currently everything. It's actually running the CN. So the community network CBO has a good number of people are women and girls. So this is where they always meet, maybe, for example, in public places or in a set place to discuss everything. So the main shareholder, the one who governs the CN, is the CBO, which is who are the people in the community. So the CBO members are the members living in Lanet, Umoja location. So that is where the CBO, roots is. But still, we also have the steering committee that ensures that all the technicalities of the network are going on well. And we are happy to report that we also have some young women in the CBO. It's not not all people who are involved there. And these are the people who we are using to, to run the CN, a technical support. They're the people who are doing that. Also, we've learned that since the CN is a CBO entity, let me say that, all the activities are divided among the CBO members. So we see, for example, there is the members of the CBO are the one who do marketing. So everyone have their own area where they go and market the network. So it's also been easier since once you hear your neighbor who is a CBO member telling you about a network, you're more likely to believe that person more than someone who you don't know. So we've had the benefit of knowing that the people who are forming the CBO, the people who we know, and we are talking to the people. You are talking, for example, to your neighbor. So it has also given us an advantage in making sure that the network is growing, because if my neighbor has the network and tells me it's good, so I'm more likely to buy into that. So it has been the CBO running the network, and so far so good, because the schools are in our community. So it has all helped everything become more easy, because it's us, we are creating the network, it's our network, it's for our people, so it's really good. I like how it is being here. Yeah.
Great.
Steering committee. Let me tell you a funny story about it. When we just started at the very beginning of the project, the project's name includes women. We are AFCHIX, and we commercialize, or we talk about it as African Women in Computing. So when we called for the first meeting, we were snubbed by men. Most of the attendees were women. They were saying the idea is this is a project dedicated to women, so they encouraged the women to attend, but men were kind of snobbing our meetings. Later, of course, there was, we are lucky again to have the decision maker or the mayor of the community where we established the community network at that time in the first phase was a female. She also helped into building that trust between whoever came, myself and the AFCHIX who came with the project, talking about connecting women and connecting the communities, etc. And also between the community who trusted us into talking to the women in the community. So the first even steering committee was mainly composed by female, the champion, of course, and later we have included with us male counterparts, because we needed, for example, in the community we had schools, and one of the schools was delivering digital trainings, and there was like the teacher of one of the schools, he's a male, and he volunteered to help us into the delivering the trainings, the digital divide trainings or digital literacy trainings to the community members, and was included in the steering committee to help us also to make decisions for whatever we needed to take. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Houda. Ghillian, please take us through.
Yes, as I said, my camera do have a problem. I don't know, it's flickering. So Henok, I don't know whether I must switch off and then use my voice, or will I continue? Barbara, is it really affecting?
Sorry, I think you can continue in the best way for you. It might be, maybe you have to switch off your video for just now, but okay. You can go on. Yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit better. I think
yes.
It has to do with the network, but yes, it's fine. As I started, we talk about a steering committee. When we had the first meeting, we also had to talk about the registration, because in Namibia, they are a little bit strict when it comes to registration with all those things. So we needed to register NGO. And we needed to have policies. So at this stage, we select a steering committee consisting, as I said, of approximately 80% women, and then we had 2 males. So then the steering committee started to draft policies, and these policies was then taken through and used for the registration of the NGO. So that is the steering committee. The steering committee then becomes the board members. Only the woman part becomes the board members of the NGO, and is still busy with the day-to-day running of the NGO. They are responsible for every aspect of the NGO. They have to do the finances, they have to do whatever is needed on a daily basis. We do have a male for the tech because taking the community, it's a very small, not so small, but it's a small community. It is a rural community, does not have a lot of technicals. So then we have a male for the tech part. So, and yes, the rest is done by females. So yes, that is what is happening at our site. The steering committee are out and out responsible for the admin of the NGO. In this case, it now becomes Mosno the NGO from there on.
Great. Thank you, ladies, for that. And as AFCHIX, we believe in an equitable digital world. So yes, we definitely know that we do need allies who are our male counterparts to come alongside us to help us build these communities together. And now as we're coming into talking about gender and the gender nuances and the power dynamics that you have seen in the CNs, would you kindly share with us how this has played out in your community? You know, do women in your community need spousal support to access devices to then get further permission to then access the connectivity to your CN? How have you seen this play out in your community, where the women in your community are able to access the CN in support by being supported by their spouses, or are they doing this, you know, behind their backs because they are very eager to learn and get access to connectivity? Please do share with us, and maybe we could start from Houda and head to Ghillian, then to Mariah, to tell us about their experiences. Also, as the project coordinators of the project, how have you experienced this gender and power dynamic for you personally as the leaders of these CNs?
Well, I mean, related to gender, of course, especially in North Africa and probably in most African countries, we have very conservative communities. I mean, we still have the last decision is taken by men in households, etc. However, the approach that the team follows is very important. It is very important to rely on people that are trustworthy within the community, so that if there is this trust, of course, there will be less resistance. And in my case, or the case of Morocco, we have approached first the decision makers and a very trustworthy champion who played a very crucial role in advocating for the cause and advocating for also having those women embark with us in the journey. Of course, men was sending, and encouraging their spouses to go attend the digital literacy training, because they are aware that whatever knowledge those women will gain, they will bring it back home, whether to educate their children or even to pass the knowledge to their husbands. So this was really very, everybody was aware for that, and we did not find much resistance to that since the beginning of our start. But the approach is very important. When you start, you need to be very, very cautious about who are you targeting, and the wording that you are using, and establish trust at the beginning.
Yeah, that's very interesting to hear. And I love that it was a positive experience for you. Ghillian?
Yes, from our side, Barbara, I would say that our males also support the females. But when it comes to the Wi-Fi, everyone that do have a device that can connect will use their devices, even in a household. When it comes to connecting, household connectings, as in any other decision making in a household, it's just necessary for the man and the woman to sit down and to decide whether they will now connect as a household. But as Houda said, it's like they will sort of urge the woman to become part of trainings, to go to trainings, because they know that these trainings, or what they gain at a training, will come back to the house, and the girl child will experience some positive engagement through what they find from the mothers. And even the girls, I mean, those using our Wi-Fi, the open Wi-Fi, it's mostly girls. I mean, and they are using it for study purposes, to gain info from there. So yes, I don't really think that we have so harsh a gender problem in the country or where I am staying. I think they sort of, but as we also know, it is how you approach them. If you will come and you will just decide they need to do it, then we will have problems. It's talk, sit around the table, see how best we can sort it out, see how it will help. Does it help the community? Is it a positive influence in the community? Will it influence the community negatively? Because we know for internet, there is also a negative side. So yes, these are the things that we need to talk through, and at the end of the day, we then take it from there. And then I think everything will come out positively. So talk and talk. I think having discussions with the community is the best way to go about. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Ghillian. And Mariah?
All right. So I think for Lanet Umoja was, regardless that we are in a rural setup, at the beginning of the project, we had a meeting with the community. There was a community meeting for people to be told about the community network. So men and women showed up for the community, and despite being a women-led project, men were very supportive of women. We also even currently have men who are very supportive even right now, also some in the steering committee. And it has encouraged women since, previously we didn't have, these tech involvement in the rural areas. It has encouraged women to join in and to go for trainings. I mean, there are those setbacks that always, make people not be able to, come for trainings no more. But once you go back to the homes, you learn that men have also enabled women to grow. We live in a very loving community. So at some time you will meet the husband is trying to explain to the wife how the network works. Sometimes you will even hear them telling them about the Wi-Fi, what is a Wi-Fi, how you connect. So it's been a support community. And maybe personally how I experienced it. For a start, I just graduated before I joined the project. So I'm young, I'm female, and I'm in technology. So, it also has those setbacks, and people are like wondering, so how comes you are leading this network and you're a woman? Because they, some people perceive that, we are not so more abroad in those areas, but we've come to see that people have changed their mindset. So currently, it is not a surprise in Lanet Umoja, when you tell them that Lanet Umoja Community Network is led by women, people have now grown to accept that really these are our women, these are our girls, they can do it. And it has changed Lanet Umoja for sure to say, because right now things are so different before the project started, before we started leading the community as women. So it has still, people are still getting trained on such things, but people have grown, women especially, have grown to loving this. For example, I'd say that, most women love to, chat and talk. And for example, let me say WhatsApp, I've trained women. Most of the women who come for our training, we train them. You don't need to have a credit on your phone. So if you want to talk to your neighbor or your friend who is far away, you can have an endless talk via WhatsApp calls. So women have grown, and they have evolved in technology, and they are teaching their own girls to do this. So it's such an honor to see that women, we are rising up in this field. Yeah.
Wow, these are lovely, lovely stories. And I'm really glad that because the project is in your communities, the people in the community have sought to embrace it and participate fully in it. And you're seeing that there's, to some extent, we're bridging that digital divide in one way or another.
Sure.
So before we go into the questions of the audiences, because I see our time is kind of running out, I wanted to ask each of you to tell us in a quick 2 minutes. We're not wrapping up. We're just about to just go into the questions. Each of you to tell us how you personally would guide a woman to start a CN in their community, or how would you support them to feel included in the project, so that then we are encouraging people, because I've seen in the chat that there's a few women, a few audience members who have asked for support and advice on how to do this. How would you support them to do this?
Well, as I said in the first place, we need to localize, or not localize, I mean, identify the geographical location of that community networks and have really good decision makers or support, local decision makers support before starting any community networks. After that, you need, of course, to build the critical mass of supporters or the supposed or potential customers of your community networks. Technology, we buy it. Technology, we install it. However, it's really the community or the people that will connect to this technology that makes, that represents the most important part of it. I mean, you will find the equipment, you will find the internet service provider that will serve your network, however, or community network. However, it's the community who makes the network, not the network, and not vice versa.
Yes, from my side, Barbara, I will say countries do have laws. In 2018, we had to start there. First, see what is the law of your country regarding your CN, whether there is laws that guide. And from there on, as Houda said, go to the community, see whether the community is interested. I mean, you cannot bring a CN into a community that is already fully equipped, that do have enough bandwidth, that do have ISP providers that is cheap enough. And I mean, you come in with a CN and your CN is a little bit more expensive than the ISP provider in the community. What I find with us is also the fact that, as I said, we do not have a lot of technicians, but if you can have a reliable tech, a tech that you know that will be with you as from the start up to the end. You cannot change, I mean, people as you go around. So these are the things that I think we will first go for our laws, see whether there is law that is governing it, and then you go to your community, see whether your community is interested, see whether there is other providers, see whether if you can get it as at a lower cost than the provider, and then see whether you have the capable people that can see through. I think that is my advice to the one out there that want to start a CN, but it's doable. I mean, the love for your community will take you through. It is really doable. It's interesting. It is, yes, you can just do it.
All right, maybe not to repeat what Ghillian and Houda have said, for example, if there's someone interested to start a CN that is women-led, which I hope there is, I would suggest that let's be the one who are you know, we're in the front line to build this network. I've seen a situation in Lanet where we were the one who were involved in doing the site surveys when the network was being done. We would survey the areas, and some point when we started doing the installations, we women especially, and let me say use myself, I would go and personally do the survey and doing the installation. You know, we can do it, we can do it. So let's encourage each other by being there and starting this network ourselves and believing in ourselves as women that we can do it, because we can. So looking at the everything that a network needs, the infrastructure, I think also we need to be well equipped. Let us not get tired of learning. And we need to be grounded and you know, learn more about the tech issues and you know, upcoming things, especially in the network. So as we lead as women in the CNs, let us be in the front. Yeah, you know, we will do those installations. We will climb those masts. Yeah. So it's an experience that we have to experience ourselves before, we pass it to others.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. I want us to go into the questions. Sorry, let me just read a few from the chat. Maybe you could help me answer these questions, ladies. Let's see. We have a question from Roger. Has anyone experienced multiple communities collaborating to establish a shared network infrastructure? Would you say any of you has experienced that? Go ahead, Houda.
Well, I did not experience that, but it can be a very good experiment to think of, or something to think of, especially when you are dealing with communities, even if they belong to the same administrative community, but they are still scattered, and they can build a kind of autonomous community networks that all collaborate into one big hat community network. Yeah, why not? We had the chance to kind of manage small hotspots that are geographically distant. However, if it is not possible, we can start with small hotspots that are co-managed collectively through a cooperative or something like that. Yeah, why not?
Okay, great. There's another question here about building sustainability. What has been your experience about with regards to building sustainability for your community networks? I do know that we started this process a bit later, but what are your thoughts as the people on the ground on how that was done, how it was done, and how it's going right now regarding sustainability?
Well, I can answer this question as well. Sorry, Barbara, if I'm jumping in. I mean, when we started, you remember in the very first meetings when we started, our target was not really the community, but rather cooperatives within the community. It means we were targeting groups of women and groups of people who are running some NGOs or cooperatives to generate some income. It means that they have some income, but they want to grow it, and they have this limited access to internet, this limited access to equipment and to digital. And by targeting those communities or those people, those group of peoples, we help them grow their businesses through marketing their goods. We had like cooperatives that were making bread, those that were collecting apples and making jam out of it, and chips out of apple collection. There were those that were doing some carpets. So this helped into kind of sustaining the community network, because those cooperatives had some income that they wanted to grow. It means that they still need this internet connection to be able to sustain it. So this is kind of a very good approach to do when you want to sustain the payment, especially for the technicians and for the ISP provider.
Thank you for that, Houda. I'd like to hear from Namibia, which is Ghillian, and from Kenya, how you guys have worked on that sustainability. So Ghillian, you can go ahead, then Maria can go.
Yes, Barbara, at this stage, we are not at the place that we are paying our tech, or yes, the ISP is paid for a time by the, but for us, we do have a place where we have customers that is paying, as I said, not a very huge fee, less than what the ISP provider is asking. The money that we at this stage collecting is used to provide electricity for the places where our towers are housed. Though the ladies that sell our tickets, we give them free internet connection. But we have to provide electricity for the towers and those ladies that now house our towers. But yes, and we are looking into it to put a few, some of the money in the account, so that when we have to replace equipment, when something goes down, so that we can use that money. At this stage, not very or not much. But yes, it's a start. And I think we are growing. As day by day we are growing, and we look at the stability of the internet. We know that when the internet is stable, we can even earn more. But that is a beginning, and yes, that is how we in Namibia are trying to sustain the internet or the network at this stage.
Okay. That's so great. I think I love the fact that even though there's not much income coming in, you're still pushing on and you're still trying to find different ways to ensure that the community continues to get access to the internet. I know that, Ghillian, you also have an IT hub. Would you speak a bit more about that before Mariah speaks about the sustainability in Lanet?
Yes, we acquire 5 laptops during the second phase, also provided by our grant. So the community members can come into the hub. They can use the laptops for anything, like in sending emails, just chatting, even playing. There are guys that is coming in to play, yes, and just relaxing. So, but they pay when they use our laptops, and the money is also used for sustainability. Then the other way that we are also, we have a printer with the laptops, so we can do copying and printing, and they can even scan, and the money is also used for helping to sustain the network.
Great. Great, thank you. Not only just providing the internet, but finding services that are needed in the community to then, make a bit of money for that to ensure sustainability. That's really great. Mariah?
Great. So for Lanet Umoja, since we are not paying, we are, lucky not to be paying for electricity or, the place where we've stored our equipment or power and security. We are looking into connecting more people in the community. That is where now all our hands are at right now. So we are connecting more community members to be able to support to pay for the internet. So in turn, we're able to keep all the schools connected and the students learning. So we are diving into getting more community members connecting, and so far so good because people view this as their own network, so it's easier for them to connect to the community network. So that is how we are looking forward to getting ourselves sustainable. We are not there yet, but we will get there.
Great, great. And I like how it's, using your connections as community members to grow the network, because even without the community, you would not have a community network. So I wish you all the best in your sustainability pursuit, because I know it's not easy, but it's doable. And I think it only works if you contextualize it to the community you're in, because I don't know if what Mariah is doing in Lanet Umoja will work in Morocco. I don't know if what works in, Groot in Namibia will work in Lanet. But I really love that you have people around you trying to figure out ways on how we could continue to be sustainable and grow, and not actually just giving up on a project because it seems hard. So, before we get to our parting shot, because we're supposed to wrap up in a few minutes, I wanted to share, because in the chat I've seen how people are asking, where do we start growing a community, creating a community network? What should we do? And I wanted to share that we are very proud as AFCHIX to announce the launching of our new e-learning platform, whereby we have created a course through our learnings in this project with Houda, Ghillian, Mariah, what we've learned throughout the process, and we've packaged it in a course on our new platform that is now very accessible to everybody on this platform. And I don't know if Terry is available to just share her screen and show us that's the landing page on what it looks like. And I will share the link on the chat so that you can be able to find it after this session, and be able to explore how we have been able to create these different models in the different communities, and you do it yourself also in your community.
Hi, Barbara. Yes, I'm here. Let me share my screen. I don't know if you can all see.
Yes, we can. You can.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this is our e-learning platform. So it's hosted on Moodle, and we currently have just one course, which is the community network, how to set up your community network. So once you come to the site, you can click on this button. It's a call to action button, which leads you to the registration. And for you to log in, you have 3 different ways of logging in. You have the social logins. Let me log out so you can see. Sorry. All right. So once you use the call to action button, so you have 2 ways of logging in. You can log in using our social account, using your social accounts. That's your Google, your Gmail account, or your Facebook account, or you can actually create your own account where you can log in into the site. So once you log in, so I'll just go ahead and log in using my yes. So once you log in, you will get a prompt in your email that asks you to register, to the course. And then now you come directly here. So currently we only have one course, which is the setting up your community network. Once you enrolled, you're able to access all the modules. So from all the work that we've done, we packaged it into 10 complete modules that cover different things. And each module has a SCORM package, which is just a little video introduction, just to explain to you what each of the module is about, what it entails. You also have a quiz in it. You have a brief overview of what to expect. And as I said, you have a brief video, which is a SCORM package that just introduces you to what setting up community networks is. And at the end of it, you'll go through just a small little quiz, which is to test your knowledge on what you've learned. And we also have, so this is the SCORM package, which is just a video where we've recorded what we've gone through, our experiences, setting up the community network, explaining some of the aspects of setting up a community network, which is built per each module. And at the end of each SCORM package, you have a quiz and you have a resource center where we've put all the resources that we use for each of these categories. So when it comes to, as I said, you have your SCORM package, you have your knowledge check, and you have a place where you have access to all the documents we've created, everything that we were able to use while setting up our community network. Yeah, so I think that's it for our...
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Terry. I'm really excited about this. Please go sign up, look through the modules, please give us feedback. The modules, there's some that have checklists that we used to check our procurement process. There's checklists for the whole pre-deployment, deployment, post-deployment. There's also documents and resources about what you can look into regarding sustainability, and even what the ladies have spoken about. We also took them through some capacity building sessions just to enable them to understand what it is that they need to look for during that period of time in your CN when you're looking towards sustainability. So please go, join. Enroll for the courses and give us feedback, because we're still growing it, and we are also looking to see how we could add more courses onto it. So if you know people who have technical courses they would like to add to the platform, please feel free to reach out to us. And so before we finish, I wanted us to have the ladies to just give us a parting shot to everybody here listening, the women in the audience, encourage the women in the audience, and even our allies, the males in the audience, to just keep supporting the CN movement. Leave us with a few encouraging words, so that then as we wrap up, and I think there's a final question that we can answer. I don't know, Kgopotso is the one who's going to take over that part. please share with us encouragement, ladies, so that then when we leave this webinar, we have a bunch of women who want to start setting up community networks and connecting the unconnected. Maybe a minute or two for each, and then Kgopotso, you can take over. We can do Mariah, Ghillian, and Houda will finish. Thank you so much, ladies.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Maybe what I will say is that, so this was before thought to be a, men field. I think women can do it in this field too. This has been evident from what has happened in Lanet Umoja. We've actually been able to inspire high school students, girls, to wanting to take tech courses, seeing what we have done. So thank you to Dorcas for giving me, an opportunity to shine out in this, especially as a young girl in technology. So I believe that women can do it. And I think what we can do right now, as we start off getting this going, is to encourage our young girls that they can be able to do this. And community network is possible with the community. So in case you want to start one, just engage the community. Once the community wants the network, nothing can stop it. So it's the community power that has driven Lanet Umoja, and I believe you're going far with this. Thank you and bye.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity to talk to ladies out there. I am so sorry that every time that I need to talk, I have to stop my video. I think my connection is a little bit too slow, but let's do it. Yes, if there is a housewife out there, a leading lady in a community with time on her hands, you will see when we talk, I was the one with, you don't need a tech background. I did it without a tech background. And yes, we did it so well. What I stressed somewhere during the discussion was just make sure that you have somebody that take you through the tech part. But yes, just for the love of your community, as Mariah said, it's the community that is making the CN. You can't, as a steering committee, as a tech, as a whatever, you can't make the CN. But your love for a community and giving them an opportunity, what you will find maybe in urban areas and not in rural areas. You can bring it to your community. So don't think that, oh no, I won't be able to do it. If we can do it, then you can do it as well. And you can do it just so, to the extent where you can succeed. So that's what I want to tell every leading lady out there. Go for it. Give your community a chance. Take them a step higher. Don't let them stay in a world where they are not exposed to internet, to digital training, to all those. Help them. And at the end of that, you will be the one helping your community, building your community, and giving them something to hope for. Thank you so much.
Well, it's very difficult to talk after Maria and Ghillian. They have said it all. I will just add that there is a huge digital gap between connected Africa and unconnected Africa, and between developing countries and developed countries. Help us. I will not direct my message to women. I'm directing my message to all African young people. Help us build the critical mass to bridge this digital divide. We are now talking about 5G and establishing standards for 6G. We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about cutting-edge technologies that will propulsate what people are doing with technology and with the internet. And we are still talking about connectivity. So help us build this critical mass to help people access the internet and also build capacity around the use of this internet to the benefit of humanity and Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us the knowledge that you have acquired and through the creation of the community networks in your communities. Thank you so much for the work that you put into, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more stories about the growth of your community networks specifically. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening through the roundtable discussion. And now I'll hand over to Kgopotso. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Yes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm feeling a lot of love in this room. And well done to Team AFCHIX. You have done very well. Thank you for sharing your stories, for inspiring us. I can definitely say that your stories have helped me personally. I don't know about other people, but I hope they have also engaged with the content to challenge their own beliefs and stereotypes as far as women are concerned, because I think you did demonstrate that it is possible to break down the barriers. I think you have provided evidence that while society thinks that a woman's place is in the kitchen, a woman's place can be anywhere she wants to be. But most importantly, she doesn't have to be there alone, because what is recurring throughout your stories is that men and women can work together, and you are working and you are being supported by men. The reflections in the chat supporting that indeed men in your respective communities are supportive of the process. So what I've learned is that a woman's network does not mean exclude men. It means that we need to talk more, engage, collaborate, and put the needs of our communities to be the one that is guiding us in this ecosystem, instead of just wanting to dominate and create more divides, by separating ourselves from men. So we are here to support. We are drawing lessons, and yes, we must go for the critical mass. I think the other thing that is evident is that it is true of what they say about women. I will speak of women in an African context because that is my context. And they say that according to African philosophy, women pre-colonization were the custodian of design and engineering. So the work that you are doing is in you because you have it in you. You are the custodians of design, engineering, shaping and guiding, society. So by working in the 3 countries, you are not only imparting knowledge in those countries, you are sharing it to build the critical mass. So keep moving, keep going. We know that it is not easy, but as Mary said, it can be done. And I love the fact that she says, look at me, I'm young, I'm in tech, and I'm female. And the men in my community are supporting me. So those are the stories that we need as Africans so that we don't allow the dominant narratives to separate us, but we listen more to the experiences, the lived experiences of people like Mary to say, yes, there is a narrative, but collectively we can change it. And I think you have done very well today, helping us to unlearn those stereotypes. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And yes, do visit the AFCHIX website and get some free education there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Afro, whoa. Yalela, 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 yalela.